I want to tell you something very important. You are more than just a taxpayer or a worker. You're a person. And for most of Canadian history, the federal government respected that. It's the reason why religious freedom is a thing. It's the reason why it's always been part of how we live in Canada. It's been part of our laws, our policies, our traditions. But the Liberal Party doesn't see you as a person with a heart, a soul, a spirit. They don't respect your faith, your culture, your traditions. They see you as an economic input, as a column on a spreadsheet, part of their GDP calculation. Now that might sound harsh to you. That might sound like, oh, the partisanship and I'm just attacking the Liberals as usual. But this is a really important thing that you need to understand. Because right here in Ottawa, there's a debate happening about Bill C-9, and in particular, a Liberal amendment to Bill C-9, an amendment they've agreed to make it possible to prosecute people for reading and sharing Bible verses that the federal government deems hateful. So when I talk about the Liberal Party this way, you might think, oh, this is a conservative railing against the Liberals. But you got to understand where I come from. Like, I grew up in the Greater Toronto area. Almost every neighborhood I lived in as a kid is a neighborhood that elects Liberals all the time. I understand the Liberal Party. As a person who grew up in a minority community, I was told as a kid, if you want to be involved in politics, the Liberal Party is your home. So I often thought about politics as what the Liberals do. I thought that's where I would be welcomed. And then as I got older, I turned away from the Liberal Party, like many other people. And it's because of stuff like this. It's because I realized that they define people like me, people from minority communities, based on our skin color. But they don't respect where we come from. They don't respect our cultures, our traditions, the things we're taught by our mothers and fathers. They see us as empty people, like a skeleton with no muscles or tissue. They want to hollow you out and make you kind of nothing. And their attitude toward religion, their attitude toward Christians, Muslims, and Jews underscores this point. It affirms exactly why I'm not a liberal. Because it reminds us how little respect they have for the people who sacrificed for us to be here. Regardless of what color you are, they don't respect our traditions. They don't respect where you come from. Yeah, they'll say things, cute little phrases like diversity is our strength. And yeah, they'll offer you DEI policies and say they really care about you. They'll show up to your community events and eat samosas or jerk chicken. But they don't actually respect you as a person. You know, people from minority communities, just like everybody else, stand on the shoulders of giants, our lives made possible by the people who came before us. But liberals offer this colonial thinking where they want you to denounce your own father, your own mother, your own grandpa or grandma. They want you to call what they believed in, what your family believed in for generations, hateful. Simply because it doesn't map onto the modern identity politics of today. Well, I refuse to do that. That's colonial thinking. To distance you from your own family, distance you from your own heritage, distance you from your own traditions. And they dress this up as progress? No. The Liberal Party and Mark Carney reflect a very serious problem, which is the federal government trying to redefine their relationship with the Canadian people. You ask the average person, what is the purpose of a government? Well, it's to keep you safe, to enforce laws, to grow our economy, to give you a fair chance at life. It's not to tell you what Bible verses you can read or share. Whether you believe in the Bible or not, I don't think there are very many Canadians at all who actually think this is what the government is supposed to be doing with their tax dollars. And yet, this is what they're doing here in Ottawa. You know, when I talk about growing up in an area where you believe the Liberal Party represents you, it's a real wake-up call when you realize how they really view you as a person. And this is what I wish all Canadians would understand. This is why I do this. This is why I'm talking to you right now. I want people to get what the Liberal Party is about. On a superficial level, they want to talk to you. But at the end of the day, they just don't really respect the well-rounded person. Because if they did, they would understand we have religious freedom for a good reason. Because this is part of being a full human being. You're more than just a job. You're more than just what the CRA taxes you every year. And that's why the federal government has always, up until recently, respected there are parts of our lives where they're not supposed to get involved. There are parts of our lives that are not supposed to meddle in our affairs. So I say, to every Christian, Muslim, and Jew in this country, I say to every religious person, and I say to every citizen, regardless of what you believe, the problem with the Liberal Party, the problem with Mark Carney, is they want to lord over you. They want to be God. And it bothers them that there might be things more important to us as citizens than what they have to say. There might be things more important to us as citizens than the values that they want to dictate from their offices in Ottawa. When I was sick with cancer, I was very grateful and continue to be part of a country, a citizen of a country, where I could get health care and not go into debt. That's the government's responsibility. But I survived stage 4 cancer not just because of good doctors and good nurses. I survived because of a church community that supported me and my family, prayed for us, encouraged us. When I was in my darkest moments, were there for me to remind me that I have hope and that I have a future. And now the government wants to say to those very same church communities what parts of the Bible they're allowed to read. Do you get what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm trying to get across? This is not about me trying to say what you're supposed to believe in. It's about me saying that the government needs to know its place. And the government does not have a role in dictating your spiritual life. The government does not have a role in controlling institutions that we as people rely on to uplift us in difficult times. The government does not have a role in bringing their social, cultural, and political agenda into every institution that exists in our country. So when I say colonial thinking, this is what I mean. They want that kind of control over you, and they want you to be grateful for it, like somehow they're protecting you from your own ancestors. That's wild. This is textbook liberal racism. And it's something we got to take seriously. The debate over Bill C-9 continues, and I will continue to oppose that legislation, and I will oppose every effort by the Liberal Party to make this legislation even worse for the great and wonderful people of our country. God bless Canada. God bless you.